I'm Melissa Mancini with Canadian HR Reporter TV. I recently spoke to Jerry Traer from Workplace Safety North. We talked about conducting proper incident investigations.
A lot of it revolves around supervisors actually conducting the investigations, and they tend to have, their plate pretty full with other duties, and when it comes to an investigation, it usually is trying to get it as quickly off their plate and moved on to something else.
What are some best practices for incident investigation?
In a lot of cases, it's their managers, demanding that they spend the time and effort. I've had situations where some workplaces will actually do a critique, where managers will critique the investigation and make sure that topics or root cause, timelines, everything are being met, and if they're not and they get a score that's lower than acceptable, they will send it back and get them to redo it. And eventually the supervisor is going to pick up that I do have to spend the time. Yes, the other thing is dealing with just informing supervisors about the importance of it. That in a lot of cases we view incident investigations as reacting to an incident, and not very proactive. But there's just a lot of things that can come out of an investigation, and a lot of recommendations that can prevent the incident from occurring again.
What do some companies do to ensure that recommendations are implemented?
I've seen a lot of companies that they'll put it on like morning meetings. So they'll have a morning meeting every morning with the management group, and they'll review recommendations from incident investigations. They'll review items that were found in inspections, and so those will make it onto the morning list, and they'll have people's names assigned to them. And so there's always going to be that responsibility to make sure that this gets off the list.
How do you turn investigations into something positive?
I think by allowing enough time to do it properly. And as I mentioned earlier, with supervisors, they tend to have a lot of stuff on their plate, but just giving them the time to do it properly, and so that they can see where all these recommendations are going, how this is going to improve the organization, how it's going to improve the bottom line. And then I think when you start seeing that, then it tends to be more positive, that they see, wow, look what we did. We put in this recommendation, and nobody's going to get hurt like our friend Joe got hurt. So, and I think that's where the positive comes out of, is by them seeing action. And eventually you're going to see companies, their performance will start to improve because they're putting in these recommendations, and the workforce is starting to see that management is committed to health and safety, and they're doing the right things. If somebody gets hurt and then a month later, somebody else gets hurt exactly the same way, to me, that's criminal. That should never ever happen. If you're doing your investigations properly, you're going to identify what happened, why it happened, put the recommendations in, and it should never ever happen again.